really excited about this conversation. We're talking with a real live experienced, super cool scare actor.
Yes, we have Jen Brown with us this evening, who's going to talk to us about her career as a scare actor and some of her favorite roles. And we're going to talk a little bit about Sir Henry's Haunted Trail,
which we both love,
out in Plant City, which is so much fun.
We love Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, and we are so excited.
Hi guys, my name's Jen. I am a scare actor here at Sir Henry's. I've been here since 2017. My husband and I came out here in 2017 and began scare acting out here, and now we are part of the management team out here. So Sir Henry's Haunted Trail is an amazing event. Since we've come in 2017, it's really, really grown since we've even, come here. When we first came here, he was, I think, 3 years into it at that time. And then it has just grown into this huge event. We have 3 trails. We also have a hayride now. We had last year and this season. And then we have 2 escape rooms. We have our midway. We have concessions. We have merchandise, donuts, you name it. We got it all now.
When did you decide, like, this sounds like fun, I want to do this? Like, how did you get involved?
In 2017, when we had the hurricane come through, my husband and I lost our home. My husband and I are very, love Halloween. We were married on Halloween. So that is our big thing. We had previous marriages that were other ways and they didn't work. So we decided to do something different. So we've kind of been in that for a while. And then, like I said, we lost the house. And we were introduced to Sir Henry's, and we have been here ever since. They are just like a huge family to us. So,
well, and Sir Henry's has like exploded over the past, was it 10 years, 11 years now?
Yes, it's our 11th season. Yes.
Okay. And it is great. And I mean, it's a thing. It is, and it's so well done. I got to tell you, I did not know what to expect when we went there for the first time, and I was knocked out. Remember, I told you this was like, I really loved it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And each trail has its own theme. You walk in, there's kind of roaming people. And when we first, I guess, met you, but not met you, because you were
encountered her,
because we did not. We talked to you, but you could not talk to us because you were in character. You were an insanely creepy caroler.
Yes, this was the holiday version in December.
Yeah.
And that was probably my favorite thing that night. Like, we talked about those carolers all the way home, and it was so cool. So we're actually talking to her. So is that fun to do? Like, you're not interacting with guests as that character, right?
But whenever you come here, you completely disengage from your normal personality and you go into character mode.
So does that mean you have some kind of acting background that goes along with this, or is that something you just kind of developed it when you joined up?
We just kind of developed it. I mean, I took, in high school you do drama and stuff like that, but I have never really had anything other than that. But you learn how to do things. You learn different techniques of how to get your point across. If you have someone that you're going to scare them, but you can't speak like I was with the carolers, there's always eye contact. You always got to get those 5 senses one way or another. So.
Yeah, and I remember the eye contact was crazy because one, you had crazy eyes in for one,
and you love those crazy eyes.
And I wear color contacts all the time during the Halloween season.
It creeps me out every time.
And there was a gentleman caroler with you. Was that your husband?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
so you do that together? How fun!
Yes. Yeah.
So is there a lot of training? Like, do they teach you these techniques of how to interact with guests and get reactions, or did you figure that out on your own?
We do teach everyone that comes in. We do a little bit of training here and there. We do different little events and give them, when it gets ready for season, we have different little gatherings that we have with them. Even on off season, when it's not even close to haunt season, we'll have gatherings with them. And we just try to keep everybody pretty close knit and keep our family growing as much as possible. And, teach them all the little things that we learned throughout the years and pass it on to the younger generation.
How soon before the haunt opens do you know what your character is? Because obviously there takes some time to develop it, get the costumes, figure out the makeup. How much time do you have usually before your first guests come rolling through?
We know whenever we have a meeting with Zach, which is the owner. Zach Laris is the owner of Sir Henry's. So whenever we get with Zach, when we have the meeting with them, we go over everything and we come up with characters. We come up with trails and stuff like that. He has everything in his head. and he just kind of brings it out to us, and then we just go from there. So he has the baseline, and we just try to make it grow from there as much as possible and get his vision across.
That's amazing. So you are able to have input and say, oh, I think I would like to do this, or can our character fit in if we do this? You're able to be a part of that creative process? Wow, that's amazing.
Do you have a preference as far as being one of those, like the carolers, like those roaming characters versus somebody in a trail, or are both completely different or both kind of similar? What's your take on the two roles?
They're different. If you're in a trail, it's a little bit different because you have an area where you can work with, like say, have someone in there with you. You can work with them and create, to get the point across of the story. If you are out in the common area, it's more open. You engage people differently in the common area than you do when you're in a trail. So you don't really have an area to work with. I'm sorry.
Do you do both, or do you just have one role or the other?
I have done both. Right now, I have the common area this season. And I do go to the trails through the, if I need to, and that sort of thing. With management, I'm kind of have my earpiece in. If anything needs to be taken care of, anything like that, I go and make sure that I help out our trail managers, because my husband and I used to be trail managers together, and then we had separate trails. And then now we are just doing the common area and that sort of thing, and helping out with management and letting the younger generation take over. So, which is great. Watching them grow up and get into this has been so much fun.
I bet. Like you said earlier, it's the next generation coming up, and you kind of get to mentor them, then see their ideas and get it tweaked. I'm always curious from a scare actor's perspective. Of course, when we're walking through, we laugh a lot. You get through the trail and you talk about, oh, they got you so good, or did you see me jump? What is it like from your perspective? Do you have some scares or favorite props or things that stand out for you over the past that you're like, oh yeah, that was really good?
It's really fun whenever you have the big guys come in, the real muscly guys, and they have these little skinny girlfriends that come in with them, and they end up throwing the girls in front of them because they're scared to death. It is so funny. They always end up with the girls in front, but it's really weird. But we've had quite a few things happen here and there. But any kind of scare you can get is a good scare. We have it depends on where you are at that certain time. Sometimes it's pretty much an improv thing on what you can do at that time to get someone. But yeah, the funny thing is the guys that are just come in and they're just big and, oh, I'm not scared and blah, blah, blah. And you get them every time. It's hilarious.
That has to be so much fun. Well, and you talk about the guys that are screamers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like some of them, they just like, so that must be especially gratifying.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I love that.
How fun is this?
And you talked about like the improv kind of side of it. One thing that really struck us about I think it was the Christmas one and the Valentine's one, is the dialogue that these scare actors have with you as you're going through, which is kind of unlike the theme park version of these things, where you see them and you're on to the next scene. We like had a whole conversation with, what was his name, Jangle?
Oh, I love Jangle. He was my favorite. I don't know if you know who played somebody named Jangle. You have to tell him.
Yeah.
He was like, it's not Jingle, it's Jangle. And he was explaining it. And I was like, this guy is so committed. He was I loved him.
And he took care of the reindeer was his thing, I think. And then at the
remember that reindeer? You know the thing very well, where it's a holiday thing. You go through this dark like tunnel before you get to Jangle. And like, I kept thinking, I felt kind of like I was being followed, and of course, one of those stupid reindeers. I'm sure I screamed and jumped, and it was great. It was great, but I was like, didn't see him there. It was anyway.
So after a night of things like that, whenever the last group comes through, and you guys can kind of like catch your breath, is there a lot of like laughing and like sharing stories of who got who when? I mean, do you guys kind of
we get everybody together once the event closes. We make sure that we get everybody together and get a gathering. They go over skull awards that we give out to the kids. So we go over those kind of things, which is like a accolade for them to know they did a really, really good job and someone noticed. We let them know what section of each trail did a really good job that night. So there's different little things that they're telling them that gives them a little bit of that boost to, continue doing what they're doing, because some of these kids are new at doing this kind of stuff. and some of them are real shy. I mean, when we came out here, I was really kind of reserved. I was more of an introvert, you know, and I had, you know, anxiety and everything else. But when you come here and you change into that costume, you're a completely different person. So you can come completely out of that shell and be around people. So
Well, I think this is what is so powerful about this is sort of like at Halloween, you dress up, you can be anybody or anything you want to, and it does sort of get you out of your shell and you have this like superpower for the night. You're getting to do that over and over and over because you're right, you're in makeup, nobody really knows who you are. So that has to be incredibly empowering feeling to you.
yes. Yeah, it's lots of fun. It's lots of fun.
Well, and speaking of that, I wondered if we could show some photos.
Okay, before we do, I have to say one more. Okay, well, remind me what I was going to say later. Yeah, we did. You sent us some photos, and so you want to see some of the photos?
Yeah, I was going to say, you were talking about how she gets into character and you get into that.
You just said that. Okay.
And she kind of, you know, you get to take on this whole persona. So the photos, we have some photos that you sent us, and I think a couple photos that we took on our own visit to the haunt. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of take a look at those and maybe get your take on these looks that you had. So pull up the picture of her, of Jen as the caroler, which is right there on the right. This is such a fantastic photo and such a very cool look. And this is how we initially met you, was as that character.
This is our photograph, right, of them that night?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah. So what is the backstory of this character, or does she have one?
The backstory is that they are carolers that have come out to carol, but they don't really have. Right, we had changed it this season. The first season we had it, they had their lips sewn closed with ribbon, so they couldn't speak.
Yikes.
So that was the experience with that. So you kind of have to mime, try what you're telling people. And then this time we were frozen. So we kind of try to change them up every once in a while to make it a little bit different. We're hoping this season to change them up a little bit more because it gives it a little bit of a niche, you know, each time, something a little bit different, not the same thing all the time. So
yeah, there's some evolution there, which is really cool. Now
I love this. This is amazing.
This is terrifying.
So who is this? What character is this?
That is the maid. I played the maid. This is one of the years that I was doing managing a trail. It was Final Cut was the name of the trail that year when we did it. We ended up winning that year, an award that year for the trail. But I was the maid that was in the trail. I had a great time with her. I mean, she was everywhere within the trail. I would be dusting something or whatever, and I'd look around, or there's a mirror in front of me, and I'd look to the mirror and stare at them, and then all of a sudden turn around. They thought I was, you know, a statue. So different little things that you can use it's great.
Yeah, all those visual tricks. Now this is super creepy. Is this like a scary granny?
This is scary.
Yeah.
This is when we first started. This is the carving, I believe it is. I think this is 2017 or 18. I think it's 18 we did this in. This is the carving. This is when we played Mr. and Mrs. Brown. We were a family that was using body parts as our fertilizer because our crops were not growing. So that was lots of fun too.
I love it. I love those backstories. It kind of puts you into character and kind of sets the whole scene for the thing.
And here's another one of my favorite shots.
That's not me. That is our Yule Cat. So that was from Christmas.
You can see my reaction to her. I was not having it.
You'll see here again. No, you won't see the Yule Cat right now. Maybe at Christmas time. But right now you won't see the Yule Cat.
So how long does it take for the scare actors like yourself to get into makeup and into the costumes? How long is that process?
It depends on if they're having makeup. It takes a little bit longer than just putting on a mask. But we usually try to have everybody here an hour or so early so we can make sure everybody's in costume, everything looks good, ready to go, and that makeup is ready and ready to go on each one of the trails. So.
Well, there's such talent behind the costuming and the makeup there, I think, because it's so...
Yeah, it's really well done.
It's so well done. It shows up in the dark. It's lit just right. Obviously, I'm sure there's been like a learning curve to make that work over the past 11 seasons or so. But it's just fantastic. I mean, it all shows up so well in the trail and in the commentary.
Yeah, super professionally done.
Yeah.
So I have a question. The thing that I thought was so amazing, the reason I was so knocked out the first time we went to Sir Henry's is that as we've already mentioned it, but I want to sort of highlight it. There's an area where the scare actor tends to be, but they can move along with me. And this was, I thought, really unique. Like there was a part of the trail where we were walking along the trail and they're like walking along with us. Now they're not touching us or grabbing us or anything, which is obviously the rule.
Right.
But the fact that we were interacting with them for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, not only is this very kind of scary and super cool because we can't really get away from them, they're like traveling with us. I thought that was very different from the typical like house you go through and there they are and then you go on by. And also I was impressed because the performer, the scare actor, had to come up with a lot to say. You know what I mean? Like they were following us along and they had a lot to say. Sometimes they interacted and you could tell they were ad-libbing based on us and what we said or how we were acting to them or whatever. But I was super impressed with how fast everybody was thinking on their feet.
Yeah, like I said, we do a lot of improv. The ones that you see roaming around are usually either the trail manager or one of their assistants. They're the ones that roam through the trails. This way that we can keep everybody roaming around and checking on all of our actors and make sure everybody's good. We make sure that everybody is feeling well and that sort of thing. Make sure they get their breaks and that kind of stuff because it can get very hot here in Florida. You know, with them in costume, it makes it even hotter. So we just kind of make sure of that. But if it was someone that was following you, it was probably a assistant or it was one of the trail managers that was following you. So and they're pretty used to that sort of thing. So
I thought it was super impressive and very cool. The other thing I wonder about is how do you protect your voice? Because some of them were like screaming and yelling things. I would think that would be a challenge over the course of the whole season.
We have a supply of cough drops that you wouldn't believe. We make sure that we have water for them. Everybody has water. They take water to their spots to make sure they stay hydrated, and they have cough drops. And we just have everything behind the scenes ready to go for these kids and make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Oh, and it does run so smoothly, which is amazing. And I want to talk a little bit about that too. You know, Tim said, you know, as we were walking along, obviously nobody's touching us. You don't touch the actors, you know. No. But, you know, you talk to some people who are just like, oh, if anybody comes up against me, I'm going to swing or whatever. Obviously, you have security in place, too, to protect not only the patrons, but to protect your staff as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Correct. We make sure everybody is safe and that you know, as much as possible. You never know what kind of crowd you're going to get in. So you got to kind of monitor the crowd. And when you're in the common area, even in character, you can monitor the crowd and make sure that things are you know, good to go for the night. And if not, you can notify the proper, you know, person and they can go from there and make sure that gets taken care of. So, because we want everybody to have a good time when they're out here. That's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. And that goes for your guests and your staff. I mean, it's a fun job, obviously, that you get to do. But it's also hard work and you want to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Yes. Yeah.
How many people, not like an exact number, but approximately are involved in putting Sir Henry's Haunted Trail together? Like, how many people are we talking?
Are you talking about for each night that we do?
From production and design to costuming to actors, like there's got to be a lot, I would think.
Yes, we have our own costume team. We have a makeup team. We have our construction team that are going once we end season and we do our event for Valentine's and we do Christmas. It's usually shortly after that. You know, Zach already has everything set up in his mind, what he wants to do. We have the meeting and we start building. So it's just constantly going and making sure that we have everything exactly how we want it for the season and make sure we can try to get everything done that we have on, you know, docket to have that done at that time. So.
Right. And, you know, the organizing of this is so well done. And if you haven't followed Sir Henry's Haunted Trail on social media, do so, because I remember over the summer, especially, there were a lot of like sneak peeks of like, this is what we're building. What is this going to be? So that's a very cool way to kind of tease it. And you talked a lot about Sir Henry himself, Zach, and we did get a chance to get a picture with him last year, which we loved.
Like, this was great. And so can we talk about him for a minute? I know he's very quiet. Can I ask some questions about him?
I'll see if I can answer them for you.
Okay. So like I know he's like the mastermind behind all of this. Does he ever talk about where these ideas come from, or is he just loves Halloween? Like, has he ever talked about that part?
Zach is a man of many talents. Let's put it that way. He has many things that he has his hands involved in, but he is so creative. Um, the things that he comes up with, sometimes you're like, wow, okay, I would never thought about that, but okay, we'll go with it. But Zach, everything is, you never know what Zach has in his mind until he, kind of gives it to you. And then sometimes he's like, oh, I don't like that. And he'll go back and start over again. So he's a great guy. He comes up with all this kind of stuff, and I don't know where he actually gets it from. Mm-hmm. But I know that he just comes up with all these ideas that are just off the cuff, and we're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And what's really impressive is a lot of people have an idea to do something like this. Let's put together a haunted attraction, a haunted house for people to walk through, whatever. Yeah. But like to have it sustain and then become such a thing and so successful. We're seeking it out every year. That's like quite an amazing accomplishment. And involve all these people, give them all this great experience of being a part of it. Yeah. It's just really impressive to me.
Yeah, whenever he first started, from my understanding, I think he had 5 people when he first started. And now we have, just recently, I've done 130 something emails for people wanting to do volunteer, because everything's volunteer basis. So we have everybody coming out and, getting volunteer hours. A lot of them are kids that are in high school or whatever, that have to have the hours, but they're coming out and they're spending the time out here, and they are great. They are so much fun. Amazing. So,
well, here is a question from one of our viewers, Sally. She asks, do you do any of your own makeup before getting there, or is it all done on site with the makeup team?
I have done some in the past. Recently, I haven't done it. It's been mostly the makeup team. We have a young man that is so talented with some of the stuff he does. He is so creative. He does these makeups and sends them out, and he gets with his team. There are a bunch of younger adults, but they do an amazing job. So
that's cool. And what a great learning place for a younger adult who wants to maybe pursue this as a career.
Oh, sure. Gosh, what a great experiment ground,
yeah, he has his own business now and everything too. Apparently he's opening his own business, but he's done a lot of different things out here too, with different of our props and stuff like that, the animatronics and stuff. He's done some of those too, so he's really got his hands in there, kind of like a young Zach is coming about with him. So
it's very cool.
And I love what Tim Pence put in our chat. Not a question, but he says, you need to come to Ohio for some great sights and take in the haunted hoochie attraction. I need to look that up because I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure either.
I used to live in Ohio, believe it or not. So
really?
Coming down here was an experience for me. I come from a background of a Mennonite family. I grew up in a Mennonite church. So coming down here was quite the experience from the get-go. So, and it's just kind of continued from there. So
that's amazing. There was a moment when we went through one of the houses, I think it was Valentine's, because we weren't able to go last Halloween.
Right.
And there was a moment we were winding through this house, and then we were going through this closet. Do you remember this knocked you out? There were all these clothes everywhere. Jen, I have to tell you, like this, I was just like, why would going through a closet freak me out? But there were clothes everywhere. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. I helped put that together.
It was
I absolutely love that closet. It was one of the ideas we came up with, and I absolutely love it. It was so much fun putting together. So,
yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of clothes in there.
There were, and I believe there was somebody hiding in there too that got you really good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, your favorite thing is still there. It's just a little different now. So
really? Oh, good.
So you're gonna have quite an experience with that. So you'll love it just as much as you love the closet, before.
Well, I can tell you, there's no question that at the end of the night, when you guys got together after we were there, I'm sure that they were talking about me. I mean, I was one of those guys that was just screaming and running, and they got me really good a few times.
They got you good. And this is something I always hear too, Jen, and then we'll let you go here very shortly. But one of the, I guess, myths of going to a haunted attraction is that, scare actors can find out who the one to scare is, or there's a pattern of, you don't scare the first guy or the last guy, you scare number 3, or, Is there any truth to any of that? And not to give away any secrets, but is there like a plan?
You go for the center of the sandwich. That's usually the pretty good one. So you go for the center of that sandwich, try to get them, because that's usually the ones you're going to get. But a lot of times you get them where you have them talking, you can hear them talking coming in, and they're talking about, so calling out somebody's name. And when they come past, you call out their name, that freaks them out. So you just have to keep your ears open and be alert to what's going on around you and just work off of that.
Use that. Now, here's a question from somebody.
Wait. I want to ask you a question quick about the center of the sandwich. Don't forget. So is that because they tend to be maybe the most scared and they're not going first, and they're like, that makes sense that they're like cowering in the middle, and you're going to get a scream out of them, is your point.
9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to get. So sometimes you have them in the front, like with the big guys. But most of the time you want to go, because if you go towards the front, another thing, if you go towards the front, not everybody sees the scare. Not everybody gets the scare. So if you go towards the center, it's a lot easier for everybody to, get that scare at the same time. So
that's awesome.
So we have Edward watching us on Instagram. Hello, Ed. Good to see you. And thanks for being here this past weekend. His question is specifically for you, Jen. Jen, one year, did you play the woman who had killed her husband and turned his face into a pie? That's specific.
No.
That was not you.
That was not.
That sounds horrifying, whatever that is.
That was not me. That was Miss Sherry. She's great.
Well, tell her she has a fan, clearly.
And he also said that closet is awesome. So he went through the closet.
Oh man, it got me.
Yeah.
It totally got me. And you something's in there. You just know it.
Well, the anticipation of the whole thing is awesome.
Yeah. We have so much fun. I mean, you never know, like I said, what you're going to get each night. Each night's a little bit different, but it's so much fun getting the reactions that you get. Yeah. And then you see the kids afterwards, like you said, and they're all talking about, oh, I did this and I did that and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yes, do it again. Get ready.
But if somebody wants to come check out Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, get tickets, learn more. Can you share with us what the website is, how people can get more information and more details?
Sure. SirHenry'sHauntedTrail.com. You can go on there. It will give you, once you link into there, it has all the information on there. You have to buy your tickets online only. Now you can get the upgrades here at the event, but you get the basic of the 3 trails, or you can get the add-on of the hayride. It's all a blast. There is add-ons of 2 escape rooms that you can get also. And come on out. If you have any questions, just send us emails. If you want to volunteer, at the bottom of the page, it has a section where you can volunteer. Once you link into that and send it, it'll come straight to me or either Calvin, and we will get you guys set up and come on out and have a blast with us. It's so much fun.
Well, thank you for taking time to talk with us. And I want to make sure that if you know whoever played Jangle, I want you to tell them that he was my favorite at the Christmas thing. So anyway.
Well, if you're coming in October, if you're coming, November, I think you said it was, you're coming?
November 3rd, yes.
Yeah. You'll see him, and I'm sure he's going to be very excited to see you. I'll make sure that I tell him that you're coming and look out for him.
Now I put a target on my back. Oh no.
So remember the name Tim.
No. I'll have to wear a mask or something. No, I can't. No,
it won't be Jangle himself, but it's Jangle. Let's put it that way. So
okay, well, I'm glad to hear he's still there and performing, because I thought we left and I was like, that guy was the most committed I've ever seen. He was so into that, and I loved it. And it's also right after I had my big reindeer scare.
Yeah, it was perfect time.
It was just a great moment for me.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
and that's what it's all about, is having a good time, making those memories. And thank you to you and the whole crew out there at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail for doing all of this. It's so much fun, and we definitely encourage everybody to go check it out, whether it is Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, or all 3. All 3 is what I suggest, so for sure. So thank you, Jen. Any parting thoughts before we say goodbye to you and wrap up for today? I know we covered a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all that in the beginning of not getting connected very well, but
we fixed it.
Out here I didn't realize there was not that much of a connection. I thought I'd do it out here at the trail to give you the backdrop, but you guys already have the backdrop, so you're good.
We're good. We have some photos and stuff on our website as well as on our social media from when we went.
Yeah, and thank you again, and super impressed with what you guys are doing and the job of the performers like are super into it, super committed, like in a way that was really, really impressed me, because I've done a lot of theater and worked with a lot of different groups. And I was like, these people are into it. They're buying in. They're totally going for it. You can tell how much everybody loves what they're doing, really. That to me is the best part.
There's commitment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
a volunteer
everybody.
basis. That's the thing. That's a volunteer. It's not that they're coming out to getting paid or anything like that. They're coming out and doing this for fun, and that is just so heartwarming to me. I mean, you know, we do, you know, folds of honor and stuff like that. You know, we give to them and stuff like that. But these kids are coming out here, you know, just getting their hours, but they're still spending time interacting with other people and, you know, getting out instead of sitting at home in front of the TV or, you know, playing video games and that sort of thing. So that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and they're giving everybody a great time. Like, it's so much fun. So if you're watching this, everybody, make your plans to go to Sir Henry's Haunted Trail over this season. And we're going to be there on November 1st. So
check out our website and come with us.
Jen, you were wonderful tonight. Thank you so much for talking with us.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.